So, as I mentioned before, Neville tells us that in the end of Power of Awareness, he says we must feel the feeling of the wish fulfilled. But he tells you what that is. He says the feeling of the wish fulfilled is making the future dream a present fact. In consciousness, we're supposed to do this. In imagination. I use those interchangeably. And I want to explain how I view the future, the past, and the present, and how I shape these, or how I define these things. So first I want to define what I am means to me. I am, to me, is a present tense feeling of being. And what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to shape the I of ourselves. You can think of the I of man as the inner self, who lives in imagination. That's you. And the I of man can only be, you can think of his power to create comes from the am. Not from the I will be, or I was, or I hope to one day be. You create from the am, the I am. Because life reflects what you are, not what you want. It reflects what you are. But you can shape yourself into what you want. In imagination, you can start there and shape yourself the way you would like to be. So, if you, so when I say the words I am, to me it means so much. It's not like I'm not just parroting, I'm not just saying words. To me, the I am is the creative power. It's the I am to me is where the future and the past do not lie. And if you can see that these are, the future and the past are more like I statements, then it's much easier to let go of the future and of the past and go focus on the present. It's from the present we create, from the now. And as I said before, if you're saying things like, well, let's take for example the guy, I like to give this example a lot, which is the man who was just put in prison, because it's a metaphor, and I think I think everybody can relate in some level that we've all entered into mental prisons. But let's just take this man who's physically was put into a prison and he's behind bars and he wants to be freed. That's what he desires. He just desires freedom. Well, he goes to imagine himself being free. He says, I am free. And you know what he should not do is go to the future and say things like, I am free, and what if I get let out and I actually like mess up again and I come back into jail? That's what if, that's going to the future tense. When you start fearing your desire, or you start fearing the fulfillment of it, you're going to the future, right? Because you can't really be afraid of the past. You're afraid of the future, the unknown. And then when you go to the past, when you're saying, well, I'm just, I'm a criminal. I can't just be free. I'm not allowed to be free. Again, that's not fulfillment. This is I am this, so I can't be what I want, or I want to be this, and maybe I can be, but I might ruin it. Again, these are not fulfillments. You can only fulfill in the I am. So if he were to successfully become free, he must claim, I am free, in the present tense now. And what that means is you basically imagine, you can do this, you imagine, just with a little practice, as if there is no present, or there is no past or future. You imagine as if these things don't exist. And, okay, well, how do I do that? Well, imagine as if tomorrow is not going to happen. And imagine as if yesterday didn't happen. You just imagine in the now. You don't imagine what's going to be like 5 minutes after you imagine, or what you're going to, after you come out of meditation. You don't worry about that. Your only concern is to experience the freedom, to feel that freedom that has been said yes to. And you experience it in the present. And what you'll find is, if you do this successfully, you'll be given a deep, deep fulfillment feeling, because you aren't going to the future to sabotage it, and you're not going to the past to sabotage it. You're remaining in the present. And, like, for example, I can say to you, like, when I say I am Edward, I know I'm Edward, right? I don't question whether or not I'm Edward. That's how it should be when you say I am free. When he says, I am free, he shouldn't even question it. That's what he is. And if you are, your imagination must become your evidence. So if he were to say, well, what if I'm not free? But remember, if he associates himself with the I, the inner self is free. So he is free. The question is, who are you going to associate? Are you going to associate yourself with the man of the senses or the inner man who's free or who can become what they want to be? It's really a choice. We can look to our worlds of the facts and we can say, well, these facts are just too strong. I can't change them. But you can in imagination. The question is, are you going to trust the change that you did inside yourself? You experienced the change. The man behind bars closes his eyes and he says, I am free. The next thing he knows, he sees himself outside of these bars, inside of his imagination. He's walking around the city. Now, can he associate himself with that? Can he take on that consciousness and persist in that until it feels natural to him, and then it naturally enters into his world? So in the present moment, in the I am, there is no doubt, there is no fear. There can't be, because fear comes from the future. And there's no doubt because doubting comes from the past. You doubt yourself because of who you are right now. Well, that, again, these things can't exist in the I am. If you successfully go towards I am is truly the way to create. It's the way to fulfillment, because life reflects I am. Life does not reflect I will be. It doesn't reflect I was. It reflects who you are now. And the beautiful thing is, all you have to do is reshape yourself in imagination and associate yourself with that inner man, not the body, but the inner man, who is the thing, who is expressing what he wants to express. And you don't have to worry about, the bridge of incidences that are going to happen or what's going to happen tomorrow. Like I said, tomorrow doesn't exist when you imagine. And when you see that, when you remove the tomorrow and you remove the past, the future and the past from your mind, you'll find yourself truly experiencing the present, where your mind won't go towards what ifs, or your mind won't go towards like feelings of inadequacy, because there is only I am. You are it now. You are increasingly becoming aware of what you already are in your mind. And these are a part of yourself. The man who's behind bars experiences freedom inside his mind. That's a part of him. He shouldn't reject that part of him. He should accept it. The same way you must accept the parts of yourself that are confident, that are loved, that are cared for, that are most excellent, that are brilliant, that are intelligent. Whatever it is you want to express, you can do that in imagination. The question is, who are you going to associate yourself with? The man of the senses or the inner man? And what you'll find is the man of the senses is simply expressing. It's a strong illusion, but it's simply expressing what the inner man's doing. Remember, God is not mocked. The I am is not mocked. And what that means is, we look at an orange tree. We can look at an orange tree and we know trees by their fruit. When I plant an orange tree, when I plant an orange seed, it grows an orange tree. Orange trees, oranges grow on that tree. But if I plant an apple seed, apples grow, right? We go, of course, that's so obvious. That's self-evident. And we can look at that. That's the fruit kingdom. And then we go to the vegetable kingdom, same thing. We go to the animal kingdom. Monkeys produce monkeys, giraffes produce giraffes, humans produce humans. We all agree with this area. But when it comes to the mental area, it's the same thing. Your seeds are your thoughts. They grow after their own kind. Or you should say your states grow after their own kind. It's not random that you're experiencing what you're experiencing inside your mind. It was planted by you at some point. But you dreamt it up at one point. You being the farmer or the gardener, or you being the dreamer, can redream something new. And you can always revise and reshape. Remember, you're the potter. You're the potter who's always able to reshape things inside your mind. You don't, no matter how much of a fact the day was, revise it in imagination and accept that was the day you had. If you're willing, you will experience freedom. But it does take a certain level of bravery to accept that. But you can do it. Trust me, if I can do it, I know anybody can do it. You can do it. All it takes is your willingness to credit it reality. All it takes is your willingness to accept that was the reality, that your imagination is the reality. And since things grow after their own kind, you don't have to worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow is what is done. Your tomorrow is what you do now. I'm going to repeat that again. You do not have to worry about tomorrow, because your tomorrow is what you do now. If you imagine after brilliance, you're not going to receive something that's grows after its own kind. You're not going to receive like stupidity. There's a story that Jesus says is that your father, I can't remember the scripture perfectly on top of my head right now, but your father's good. Think of your father as your imagination. He says your father is good, and he's not like an evil parent who you ask for you ask for a fish and he gives you a snake. No, he says no. The father's good. If you ask for something, he gives that to you exactly. And when you see it that way, that imagination gives you what you give yourself. You can see that it actually is good. It's not going to give you something opposite. Things grow after their own kind. So if you want to express brilliance, you keep sowing seeds of brilliance. Well, how do I sow a seed? Well, I assume that I am it now. That's how I sow it. I don't worry about tomorrow or about the past, because the past and what I'm doing right now speaking to you is creating my future. I'm going towards the future, and it's creating my past. I can reflect. Tomorrow I can look back and see myself doing this audio recording. So the future and the past are in one present moment now. So what you do now is all that matters. This is what shapes, right now is what shapes your future. So in some sense, there really isn't any future. If you want to know what's going to happen tomorrow, just look at the states you're in now. It's no secret. There's nothing hidden in secret. That's why I don't care about the subconscious mind. I don't care about these things. All I need to do is look at my world, or I need to look at myself within myself and see, okay, this is what I'm expressing inside my mind. This is how I feel about myself. Well, then I can expect tomorrow will be my harvest, and it'll be just like this. But if I want to change myself, I am the seed. I am the seed. So I need to sow myself, and I will become what I want. So God isn't mocked. You won't receive opposite of what you're imagining. You can't. And you can prove that in imagination. I mean, if you start fearing something in your mind, you instantly will find yourself dreaming up that fear. But if you find yourself feeling like there is nothing to worry about in your imagination, and you can have exactly what you want, you'll have that. The imagination's good. It gives you what you give yourself. And it won't reject you, because that would just be you rejecting yourself. That's why I mentioned in the past, one of Neville's students, Lendl, he said that, all denial is self-denial. And that's really important to understand. It's self-denial. I'm denying the I am of that what I want to be. I'm denying only myself. And there's this scripture that says, it's David speaking to God after he committed these atrocities. He says, "You and you alone, God, I have sinned against." So we only sin against God, because that's all there is. But God is all forgiving. You only sin towards the imagination, and the imagination has already forgiven you. So you can now become what you want. But you only become things by the I am. You do not become them with I will be one day. That's not fulfillment. So fall asleep. A practical way to use this information is to go to bed tonight, allowing yourself, even if it's just, maybe you have never done it, but just for once, allow yourself to feel that you are what you want to be, regardless of limitations. Don't impose any conditions upon it. Don't impose the condition of time or where you're at physically. Don't impose and associate yourself with the inner man who already is it. Things already are, as I said. You already are it in imagination. All you need to do is become aware of being it. And don't look back. You don't have to look back. And feel that euphoria that you don't have to worry about tomorrow, because your tomorrow is shaped by what you do right now. Again, God is not mocked. And if you need proof, look at an orange tree and look at the seeds. They produce after their own kind. And we take that to the mental area. We leave the animal kingdom and the fruit kingdom and the plant kingdom, and we go towards the mental kingdom. It's the same scenario. So keep sowing seeds, as I said, through the I am of what you want to be, and you will express it. You will not fail if you go to the I am, because there is no failure in the I am. I am is a present tense factual claim. It's a factual feeling or a factual knowing. It's a factual awareness of being. It's and like I said, I am is present tense. This is so crucial to know because you will feel a euphoria, and you will persist in that euphoria, and then eventually that euphoria will become natural, and it will naturally. And when I say it naturally expresses itself, I mean that literally. Like you will think this would have happened anyway. And Neville's right. I've experienced this. It's like I used to think that using the law of assumption, I was going to be walking in a bag of money was just going to fall into my lap. I thought that's how it worked. But now I see that we live in a natural world and we must become natural within it in the mind. And I notice it just happens. It's like you don't even realize you're on the bridge. All you're called to do is to persist in the I am, to trust that you are it now. And you'll find yourself unfolding it naturally. You won't even realize the bridge is happening. It's all so natural. The next thing you know, people are coming up to you and they're telling you things that you said to yourself the night before. And they're repeating to you the things that you've said in secret, and you realize it's just a reflection. And speaking about reflection, I want to say this. If you are living in fear, it's because you are in the consciousness of separation. You are thinking in terms of separation. When you are living in love, which is to not be in fear, you are thinking in terms of reflection. Remember, seeds grow after their own kind. That's reflection. People will speak to me things I've said in secret. It's a reflection. So I don't need to be afraid. There's nothing to fear. And just assume that for a little bit. Test that out. Assume that everything is just reflecting me and feel the relief of that. Just for a little while. And then once you move on to, okay, well, if things are reflecting me, let me assume this about myself. And let me assume it in the I am. Forget I will be. Forget I once imagined it. Let me imagine it now. Let me be it now. And persist in that now until I feel like I am it, until I actually feel natural. And I promise you, you'll see it just unfolding in your life, and you won't even, most times when I imagine things, and they appear in my life, I honestly forget. I'm more aware of it now, and it doesn't surprise me when it happens, but certain things, it's like, wow, I didn't realize it till the next day. That, yeah, I once imagined I can trace it back to a thought that I sowed earlier that week. So I want to leave this with some I am statements. I am is the end. When Neville says to imagine the end, I am is your end. I am is the way to sow seeds. I am is the bridge to get you where you need to be. I am is the fulfillment you are seeking.